Let's get some perspective on the Venezuela situation, also how it's impacting the political and energy outlooks. Joining us tonight, Fox News chief political analyst Brit Hume and Kevin Book of Clearview Energy Partners. Brit, let me start with you. 30,000-foot view here of the reaction to this action on the ground and what the fallout is from it.
Brett, I think it's important to be clear about what this is and is not. It is not regime change, although when you decapitate a regime, normally people think, well, that's the end of that. But the president has made it clear that he's going to try to exercise influence over the place through the remnants, as was put earlier, of the Maduro regime itself. So everybody except for Maduro is in place. And these are the people that are supposed to work with the U.S. to bring about the change over time. And I think the president may have, in outlining this extraordinary military success, may have left the impression that we're going to be there, boots on the ground. The understanding we're all getting today is that all the U.S. forces are out of there. So we're not an occupying force there in the sense that we normally think of that. Yes, we've got the place surrounded and there are warships in the area and aircraft at the ready and all that, and I get that. But this appears to be something that can be defended by the administration as a law enforcement undertaking, because what they did is they went in there and snatched the suspect and brought him here to face justice. And that seems to me is where we are. As for what's going to happen going forward, it's not at all clear. We've had a lot of these military adventures that were successful in the early going, Brett, that have not ended in happy endings. So
right.
We can all hope that this will all work out, but it's not an invasion and occupation, as some people are saying.
Well, currently the Venezuelan interim leader, Delcy Rodriguez, Britt, is now the interim president, and the going bet is that they're going to put pressure on her through policy, and obviously the armada that's offshore, and with carrots and sticks to be able to get her to toe the line.
Yeah, I think that what the administration may be counting on here is, and maybe effectively so, is that this extraordinary military operation, which is dazzling when you think about it, may have so chastened those officials in Venezuela who remain in power that they better play ball with the United States of America, or what happened to Maduro could happen to them. And that may be a credible threat, not only in Venezuela, but in other countries in Latin America, which the U.S. is having difficulties with.
All right, Kevin, there's a lot of talk about oil here. Today, Brent crude went up a little bit. You see a lot of talk about what that looks like down the road for oil companies. How do you see this?
Well, there's two stories. One are the barrels that are flowing in Venezuela right now. And you mentioned both carrots and sticks. One of the sticks that Secretary Rubio talked about yesterday was blocking the export of oil and limiting revenue to the Venezuelan government. The second story are the barrels that could flow tomorrow. That's gotten a lot of attention. And the question of whether or not companies will come in and invest, how soon they will invest, how soon those barrels will flow.
There's a lot of talk about this. New York Times, reviving Venezuela's flow of oil will not come easily or cheaply. Potential prize is huge. Venezuela boasts the largest oil reserves in the world, but so are the risks. U.S. energy companies, ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips, have been burned in Venezuela before. It's complicated, and there would have to be a lot of investment to change that infrastructure, right?
Yeah, if you're looking at a wholesale restoration of Venezuela's past oil glory, you're looking at double-digit billions of dollars. And there's problems. It's an incredibly difficult operating environment. Everything from pest control to ports to power. A lot of related and supporting infrastructure you're going to need.
And the oil itself is much like Canada. It's a little bit dirtier. It's
thick
tougher
and
to
viscous,
refine.
requires more processing. Absolutely.
Yeah, Britt, long term, a lot of people, the Democrats criticizing this previously had said, they're not doing enough in the first administration to get rid of Maduro. So the politics of this are interesting at this moment, too.
Once again, Brad, I think what we're seeing is this reflexive reaction against anything and everything that Donald Trump does or says. And I think there's a certain amount of demand for that within the Democratic Party, and a feeling among all these politicians that they have to respond to that. but it keeps getting them in a situation where they seem to be on the side of the bad guys. Nicolas Maduro is an evil dictator. There's no doubt about that. I think most Americans recognize that. Most citizens recognize that. And, here they are appearing, at least by the virtue of attacking the action to bring him to justice as improper, appearing to be on his side. So I think that what we're seeing here, once again, Brett, is what has been, I think, quite accurately referred to as Trump derangement syndrome, and I don't think it leads to a good place for the Democrats.
And Kevin, last thing, if you were to look at the price of oil, price of gas that we're paying day to day, where do you look at your crystal ball?
Well, right now there's more supply coming out of the ground, believed in the world, than there is demand. That means the price probably trends down. A little bit of that depends on what happens in Venezuela, and for that matter, what happens in Iran. But right now it looks like we're probably headed down.
Okay. Kevin, Britt, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.